Hey folks, in this video example we are going to be talking about MetaLocator's category system. The category system is probably the most powerful search form feature and data management feature that you can leverage in a lot of different ways in MetaLocator. Categories can be used for segmenting data. They can be used for controlling colors of different results. They can be used for creating search menus for things like products and services. And they can also be used for describing individual products that might be sold at a given location. And so what I would like to do is show you how to leverage basic categories in the search form, and then how you can display those in the results. And so what I've got here is a very simple sample data file, and you'll see that we have a handful of categories here, and we have retailers and distributors. So in this example, this row is a sample location 1. It is both a retailer and a distributor. And then of course down here we have sample location 6, who is just a retailer. Now you notice these headings are category 1, category 2, category 3. This could go off to the right very far in some implementations for hundreds of categories with all different types. And so we've already got this data imported, and now we're going to create a simple category search in the interface builder. And so the first thing I'm going to do is remove this custom field from the last video, and I'm going to add the categories. And so in the template starts out just like this, where you've got location, category, and then the submit button. So if you've chosen the rich media template, this is exactly what you'll begin with. You can see that the results here mirror what we saw in the data file. So we've got sample location 1 here is a retailer and a distributor. And if I go down to the bottom, you can see sample location 6 is just a retailer. And so if I want to search for just retailers, I can pull that from the drop-down list and click search. And so you can see now only the retailers show up. And similarly, if I just wanted to show the distributors, I could do that. We've got a bunch of other categories in this particular search, but this is about as straightforward as it gets in terms of how to use the category search. We have, though, many more categories in this example account than I think are useful for this video. And so I'm going to select these. I'm going to keep the retailers and the distributors, and I am going to delete the rest so that we can kind of clean this up. And so let's go ahead and reload our locator, and we can now just see that simple drop down. The category search shown over here, we can expand the options. Notice we have some similar options compared to what was in the custom fields. We have the option to display these as checkboxes if I want users to be able to select them kind of easily. If there's a small number of results, checkboxes are great to use. I can decide the logic that is used to combine these selections. So if you click retailers and distributors, you can have the system return just those locations who are flagged as both a retailer and a distributor. Or, and this is typically in line with customer expectations, I want to see locations that are retailers or distributors, but that's controlled by this particular category logic. Group names is a really powerful feature. One of the options that I mentioned was products and services. So right now, the retailer and distributor, that might be better categorized as something like location type. Let's go back over to the categories, and I'm actually going to specify that distributors and retailers are in a group called location type. Now those are appropriately grouped, and I'm going to make a new handful of categories that represent the services available. So I'll say repair service is the name of this category. I'm going to put it in the service group. And so I'm going to make another service. Let's call this cleaning. This one is also in the service group. And we'll keep it simple so you don't have to watch me type a bunch. But we have now two groups, location type and service. And within those two groups, we have two service categories and two location type categories. If I go back to my interface builder, go ahead and reload this guy now that we've got some additional categories in here. And what I will do is bring my category back here. Let me get rid of that guy again. And under category, let's look at some new things that happen. If now I have this show as box that I skipped over. Right now we are displaying one grouped dropdown. So notice this dropdown now contains little option groups that allow the user to easily see, okay, this designates location type and this designates the service. But I can also do multiple dropdowns based on what category group they are in. And so we have the option now, we have two dropdowns labeled by their group name, retailers, distributors for location type, and repair and cleaning for service. I can choose, again, various options like multi-select or a category logic. If I want to limit this selection to just one category, I can do that. So I can choose location type just from group names. Sometimes you might be using categories for more than one purpose, and so you might have some categories that aren't meant for the user to search for. And this is a great way to limit the values shown in the search form to just those that you are interested in showing. And now if we perform a search, we can search by retailers, we can search by distributors. I hadn't actually tagged any of the data with the service types. But you can see here, if we search by repair, I don't think we'll get anybody because we don't actually have anybody in the data. So the other thing that I wanted to cover was the ability to show these categories again by checkboxes as well, but you can also do something called pill buttons. So these function just like categories, where you can enable these various options. As you can see there, they're kind of like toggle buttons, and that allows you to control the category search. And so that should be a good overview of how to leverage category search in MetaLocator. There's a lot more to categories that we'll get into in additional videos.